So today we start with the 8th commandment, or continue with the 8th commandment. The new format that I will be doing is to be reading from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. I'll just hold that up for you, which is a book available at a price of 195 Rand from your local Catholic books seller. Otherwise, I'm sure you may also be able to get copies online. And the format is that I will read one of the articles. So the Catechism of the Catholic Church, just quickly by description, is a summation of the doctrine of the Catholic Church, and it comprises 2,865 articles. Those articles take the format of a paragraph. I'll just show you an example. Hope that's coming into focus. And I'll read an article and then we'll just briefly speak about the article, and we'll try and keep the videos not too long, and we'll get through the topics. So this is Article 7 regarding the 8th commandment, you shall not steal, which is contained in Exodus 20 verse 15. In Article 2401, for the sake of the common good, it requires respect for the universal destination of goods and the respect for the right to private property. So the Catholic Church espouses, as does the Bible, that all of the goods on earth are for all of mankind and for the good of mankind, but at the same time also having respect for the right to private property. And then this then goes back to the question that started this journey for me, this part of this journey, this leg of this journey, if I might, in that I asked myself a question: if Jesus was alive today, what political system would he be espousing or supporting? And one's knee-jerk reaction is to say one of socialism stroke communism. Then, having got to know the Bible, and dare I say, and I don't profess to have a good knowledge, getting to know Jesus better, I was led to believe that Jesus would be a capitalist. Not a socialist, not a communist, a capitalist. But not in the traditional sense, in the sense of biblical capitalism. And that's why I have written a Bible which contains commentary regarding biblical capitalism, or capitalism which is contained within the Bible. But it's a more humane version of capitalism as we know it and as it's espoused in our universities and in our media, etc. So yeah, that is biblical capitalism. So moving on to Article 2402, which is the first paragraph of the description of the universal destination and the private ownership of goods. In the beginning, God entrusted the earth and its resources to the common stewardship of mankind. Now, mankind denotes plural and is all-inclusive of all men. To take care of them, master them by labor, and enjoy their fruits. The goods of creation are destined for the whole human race. However, the earth is divided up among men to assure the security of their lives, endangered by poverty and threatened by violence. The appropriation of property is legitimate for guaranteeing the freedom and dignity of persons, and for helping each of them to meet his basic needs and the needs of those in charge. It should allow for a natural solidarity to develop between men. So this is not man eat man, dog eat dog type environment. It's saying you may go and pursue wealth, but not at the cost of anything and everything else. Not at the cost to the environment and your fellow man and his safety and his well-being. Article 2403 espouses the right to private property. The right to private property acquired or received in a just way, so not by defrauding anybody, does not do away with the original gift of the earth to the whole of mankind. So while we may own private property, we are always well advised to remember that everything that we have, everything that we have received, and everything that we will get comes from God the Creator. The universal destination of goods remains primordial, even if the promotion of the common good requires respect for the right to private property and its exercise. Article 2404 goes on to say, in his use of things, man should regard the external goods he legitimately owns not merely as exclusive to himself, but common to others also, in the sense that they can benefit others as well as himself. So this is not communism, this is not state-controlled assets. It's just saying that when you have more than you need, share it appropriately. The ownership of any property makes its holder a steward of providence. God has blessed you, and so you should bless others. There's a wonderful saying which is not coming to mind right now. Freely you have received, freely you shall give. And let's bear in mind that making a wound and then offering a plaster to cover that wound when it's a gaping wound is not a solution. It doesn't help that companies that have company tax rates of 30, 35, 40% in countries all around the world are achieving effective tax rates of 5, 10, 15%, and then offering a tithe or offering some kind of philanthropy, typically between 1, 2 and maybe as much as 10%. And when you add those together, you're still getting lower than the corporate tax rate and effective tax rate they might be paying or should be paying morally, if not legally. The ownership of any property makes its holder a steward of providence, with the task of making it fruitful and communicating its benefit to others, first of all his family. Article 2405, goods of production, material or immaterial, such as land, factories, practical or artistic skills, oblige their possessors to employ them in ways that will benefit the greatest number. Those who hold goods for use and consumption should use them with moderation, reserving the better part for guests, your employees, your shareholders, the community, and for the sick and for the poor. The last article in the universal destination and private ownership of goods is Article 2406, and the last one we will be covering. Political authority has the right and duty to regulate the legitimate exercise of the right to ownership for the sake of the common good. And this also includes, in my view, everybody's right to property. Very often poor people are disowned of property through legal means by wealthy persons and sponsored by the state, as we see in America, where people have been living on farms for generations and for decades, maybe sometimes even centuries, and because mineral rights were sold to others, those people move in on their land and start exploiting the minerals that are on that land to the detriment of the purpose for which they were using the land, typically farming. So yeah, that was our first one on the universal destination and the private ownership of goods. Next we will be discussing the respect for persons and their goods, Article 2407 in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Thank you for your time and your audience. God bless you.